Legends exist in every crevice of the world. They are shared between families and communities, states and countries. To some, these legends are mere figments of overactive imaginations and bad storytelling. To others, they are puzzle pieces of facts from long ago, longing to be unearthed and explained. And although they may be muddied by time and human error, they still contain truth. And this truth, once unearthed, can be horrifying. The legend of the Melon Heads has been told for over 100 years, and it has proven to be both truly terrifying and heartbreaking. And it leaves me asking the question, what happens when you push even the most innocent to their breaking point and subject them to an evil that most of us could never even imagine? What happens when the hurt and tortured fight back? And what do humans become when they're forced into their most primal of natures? As the legend goes, parts of Michigan, Ohio, and Connecticut seem to be home to the Melon Heads. These creatures are said to roam the forest and dark roads late at night in search of food, the source of which can sometimes be unsuspecting humans. These creatures are said to be around 4 to 4.5 feet tall with extremely large, malformed heads. Just how these creatures wound up stalking the woods in these areas seems to vary from state to state. This is the legend of the Melon Heads. According to some residents of Michigan, a group of these creatures appear to reside in and around a building known as Felt Mansion, located in Holland, Michigan. It is said that a place called Junction Insane Asylum, which was allegedly located very close to Felt Mansion, was used in the 1900s to house children who were affected with a condition known as hydrocephalus. This condition is caused by an abnormal buildup of fluid within the brain and causes the head to appear enlarged. Allegedly, these children were being horribly mistreated by a doctor working in the asylum. Eventually, the children rebelled and killed the doctor who so terribly mistreated them, a fate that seems very well suited for someone who would mistreat harmless and sick children. Legend says that the children were unable to find a place to dispose of the doctor's body, and decided that chopping him up into small pieces would make him much easier for them to handle. And that's exactly what they did to him. The evil doctor's body is said to be scattered around the grounds of the beautiful Felt Mansion. Some of the children are said to have retreated to the old mansion to live out the rest of their days. Others, it is said, retreated to a series of caves that were part of an old zoo in the area. Food was scarce, and the group eventually developed a habit of cannibalism. It is believed that their penchant for cannibalism, inbreeding, and the stalking and killing of people is what led to what we know today as the legend of the Melon Heads. Some who have visited Felt Mansion have stated that they've seen ghosts of children with large heads playing on the grounds of the property, and some are even said to have seen the murder of the evil doctor, perhaps more of a residual memory playing out at certain times. According to Ohio legend, the Melon Heads can be found in a suburb of Cleveland known as Kirtland. It is said that many years ago, a man known as Dr. Crow worked at an orphanage in the area and had a habit of performing strange and unusual experiments on the young children who were in his care. Sadly enough, it seems that this wasn't as uncommon in this time as you might think, with the innocent and helpless being used as lab rats just to satisfy psychopathic doctors' most sinister fantasies. It is said that one of Dr. Crow's experiments of choice was one in which he would inject a liquid into the children's head, making it swell horribly and causing their hair to fall out. It is believed that he may have also experimented on children who suffered from hydrocephalus and injected fluid into their heads, which were already enlarged due to their medical conditions. As the story goes, Dr. Crow met his end when the children killed him and set the orphanage on fire. According to legend, the children were left with nowhere to go and no one to care for them, so they retreated to the forest and resorted to cannibalism and eating animals in order to survive, over time eventually becoming feral. According to the locals, the offspring of these children are what they now call Melon Heads, and they can still be spotted if you choose to go down Wisner Road in Kirtland late at night. Reportedly, they've been spotted eating roadkill on the side of the road and chasing local teenagers who went looking for a spooky thrill and got much, much more than they bargained for. In an area of Connecticut called Fairfield County, there was an asylum that burned down in 1960. Sadly, most of the patients and staff succumbed to the flames. However, almost 20 of the patients at the asylum were not able to be accounted for. Some believe that these patients might have retreated to the nearby woods and continued to live the best way that they knew how. However, because of a lack of food, it appears that the patients resorted to cannibalism in order to sustain themselves. Due to cannibalism and inbreeding, it is believed that these people took on a bizarre and shocking appearance, most noticeably enlarged bald heads and short frames. Over time, they became more and more feral and less human, eventually becoming what Connecticut residents know today as Melon Heads. From Michigan to Ohio to Connecticut, each of the legends surrounding the Melon Heads seem to vary slightly. However, there are points to each of the three legends that seem to correspond to one another, and in my opinion, add credence to the possibility that parts of the legend tell a sad and harsh truth. A truth more horrific than any horror movie that you could ever view. Thank you for watching Twisted Willow Pictures. Until next time, sweet dreams.